Hey everyone, welcome back to the PFF Betting Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Valenzuela. Joined with me, as always, PFF Senior Data Scientist, Ben Brown. And we are here. We are so excited. Ben, super wild card weekend. We have a ton of props to get into, talk our previews, tell you guys what we like. So let's get into it.
Football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, but with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's just that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets if they score. You score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And it's finally here. I'm excited. This might be the most excited I've gone into one of our podcasts in a really long, I don't know, not in a long time, but I'm really excited for this weekend.
Right. I do think, this is the best time of the year. I mean, no offense to Christmas, I guess I would say, but like wild card weekend is the epitome of football action, I would say, in a lot of ways. You have, multiple games basically spanning across 3 days now. So this is kind of it for me. Obviously this in divisional round hit pretty close to home, but this is definitely the point in time in the season that I definitely enjoy the most. So
yeah, it'll be awesome. Well, I think we have so much that we honestly just have to dive right into it, right? We got Raiders at Bengals. Ben, I wanted to go to this game so badly because it's right across the street. I feel like I should have tried to go.
You should go. You should still go.
I'm regretting now. I know the tailgates though are going to be awesome. Right. I know. Austin is going. I think Eric's going too.
I think Eric, Austin, and Safaro are all going. So you should have gotten that fourth ticket. I mean, come on.
All right.
Work your way in there, Kendall, a little bit. So.
I'm going to try. All right. Now I'm going to try. But we know these two teams got here, when I was looking through this under super different circumstances, right, Ben? Because the Bengals clinched the AFC North in week 17. They've been rested. They're kind of ready to go. And then the Raiders kind of had to rally for those last 4 games. They won 4 straight. And then they had to go through that insane overtime thriller just to clinch the wild card berth. So I feel like dynamic wise, these two could not be in more different positions coming into this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think, the rest factor and having to travel across country, I did think that would play a bigger role in at least the narrative leading into this game happening on Saturday afternoon. I mean, Raiders obviously have pretty short rest. Bengals have an extended rest period. So I thought, we do take some of those things into account, definitely like the rest perspective. So I thought that would be a more popular narrative than what it is. Obviously, it hasn't really mattered from the betting market perspective. We have seen Cincinnati basically move from -6.5 down to -5.5, even some 5s in certain spots. I did see a 4.5 at one particular book for a very brief time, but it seems like, it's been kind of one-sided, at least with people wanting to back Las Vegas Raiders. I do think there probably are some narratives for reasons why that is the case, but I'm not necessarily sure I buy into that overall market direction here right now.
And I'm surprised by it too, right? I was surprised by just the line movement in general, and what we've seen, because going into it, they are on short rest. They had to travel all the way over here, which does take a toll. They go from West Coast to East Coast time, so Eastern time. So that has a huge implication too. And to me, you also have to look at the weather, and it's something I took straight off of Austin Gale's Twitter. But Saturday's forecast, it's not warm. It's not Las Vegas temperatures. My mom lives there now, so I'm always checking the weather there, and I'm like, it's different. It's going to be 30 degrees. just a little bit of wind, like 15-mile-an-hour, 10-15-mile-an-hour winds, and a slight chance of rain. But Derek Carr, when he's in sub 40-degree weather, this is where I got it from Austin. He has a 50.1 PFF grade and 5.8 yards per attempt, as opposed to being in 40+ degree weather. He has an 83.8 grade, 7 yards per attempt. So I feel like that's going to be a factor here too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do agree with Austin's tweet. We have intern better than I would say basically everybody. Tage Seth as well tweeted out a graphic today on Friday as well, kind of showing EPA, league-wide EPA average, and then how that particular quarterback did in cold weather to warm weather temperatures. And you see the same thing. You see the same trend with Derek Carr kind of play out when you actually look at all the data points. It has not been good, right? I mean, he has been really good in these warm weather situations, but in Cincinnati here on Saturday afternoon, given the short rest, it seems like there are a lot of things competing against the Las Vegas Raiders. So it does make my, the line movement, it worries me a little bit, right? It seems like I'm almost missing something in a lot of ways. And I do think part of that is what the Raiders showcased on last Sunday night, what they've showcased basically the whole season. Really good front four, specifically Max Crosby, able to generate pressure in a lot of non-blitz type situations. We have seen Joe Burrow kind of eat up the blitz, right? He has the top passing grade from PFF's perspective when blitz. When he's not blitzed, he drops down to 8th overall in PFF passing grade. So that is going to be where the Bengals, I think, either win or lose this matchup. Is if the Bengals can potentially keep Joe Burrow protected, he doesn't actually have some of those pressure situations. When the Raiders aren't sending an extra man, I think that Bengals are probably going to win this one by 2 touchdowns. If he kind of starts getting under pressure, does take a high number of sacks. That has kind of been his one downfall here in 2021. If that continues to happen, if they get off the field early, maybe Jamar Chase doesn't, catch 1 or 2 of those deep balls early on in the first half, and the game is probably going to be pretty tight heading into halftime. And I do think that's the only way that you see the Raiders probably cover here. So that's kind of the two competing factions for how you want to see this game play out, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I'm with you. When I was looking at this and the line movement, I was thinking to myself the same thing of like, what am I missing here? Because on paper, like when you look at it straight up, it looks kind of obvious. And you never want to say that the Raiders recently have, strolled over that fine line of like luck and their execution, but that's kind of how I look at it too, right? Because they won those last 4 games, but each of those games were decided by 4 points or less, I believe. Yep. So you kind of look at that and you're thinking, okay, but I think a lot of their success too can come through a little bit of their run game, just a little bit too, right? Because I know that running the ball sometimes is overrated in the NFL, whatever you like to say, whatever Eric likes to say, that the running back position doesn't matter, but they've been able to control the clock late in those games. And I feel like that's a part of where they've seen their success too.
Right. I mean, yeah, I think more Eric and mine's term is the fact that particular running back doesn't matter in that particular situation. It more comes down to the fact that if, the offensive line is going to actually be able to block, handle that front 4, handle that front 7, and, the gap shooting that they're actually doing along the lines, that's when, the running back's going to be successful. So it's not that, it doesn't matter whatsoever. It definitely is a way of salting away games. And that's something that we do want to see. There are situations where teams should probably be running more, but with what particular running back based on, the offense line. And if that's not playing into a role, that's kind of where you're missing out. But speaking back to this particular game, we do like Joe Mixon over 19.5 carries. I do think that kind of plays into your mindset, right? They have been pretty good at kind of salting away these victories. So if you do like the Bengals, I do think a good spot to lean is in Joe Mixon's direction on that over 19.5 rushing attempts. Because if he gets there, I do think that this is going to be a pretty easy victory for Cincinnati. So
yeah, I would agree. And the run defense, back to the Raiders one though, is that the run defense for the Bengals is a strength for them, right? I mean, that's pretty okay. So I think that we're going to have to look at, and we can go into this going into our props, but that means that the Raiders are going to have to rely on Derek Carr a little bit, probably more in the passing offense to have that be a contributing factor to them winning. And then going back to his sub-degree temperatures below 40, I don't know. I guess I can't figure out what at least I'm missing seeing it, but those are kind of some of the things that I thought about heading into this preview.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. So we have Cincinnati's run defense as basically a league average unit, 16th overall in our opponent adjusted PFF grades. Their coverage unit kind of in similar territory. We have them like 12th, 13th overall. And then that pass rush unit 29th. So they're not going to get a lot of pressure on Derek Carr, right? And if he's capable of taking advantage even in the cold weather, that's probably the one reason why Las Vegas is going to cover, outside of the fact that they are getting pressure on Joe Burrow and forcing him into some other uncomfortable situations while not, sacrificing players in their coverage unit. So that's how it plays out. But I think the majority of times it does point in Cincinnati's direction, especially if, the somewhat unstable play of, Joe Burrow hucking it up to Ja'Marr Chase deep is actually paying off. Then I just don't see the Raiders really staying relevant in this matchup in that scenario. So I'm
agreeing. I'm with you. So we'll go into props now. We've previewed it enough. I think we're on the same page too, but we always have to start with the tried and true throughout the whole season. You will never hear us not talk about it. And that is the quarterback rushing prop. Right. And we're going to go to it again because it has been so successful for us this season, especially Joe Burrow's, but we like his over 9.5 rushing yards here.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely love it, right? There's just no other way to play this particular game, I would say, in a lot of ways. We might have even moved up a little bit. And it's 8.5 in some spots already. So he's basically gone over 8 of 8 games. We have been on the correct side, at least choosing him, especially, when we're spotlighting this particular play. But like this one quite a bit, obviously, given the pressure situation. Even though they're not blitzing, I do think the Raiders will get home once or twice. The only way that Joe Burrow has been successful under pressure in those non-blitz situations have been because of scrambles. So if we see 1 or 2 scrambles, I think he's going to pay off here pretty easily. I like that one quite a bit. It's maybe going to be the layup of the early slate, in my opinion, for sure. Especially if you buy into the cold weather, a little bit more of a grind for both offenses. And I think we see Joe Burrow scrambling in all of his glory down the field and getting over.
It's the best. I might need to write a note. I might need to write a note to just all the quarterbacks that have helped. Tom, the one night, I think I bet Big Ben one's just horrible. Right. Oh my gosh. But I agree. And I think Crosby has been amazing this season, right? And he's one of our favorite players to showcase on our social media pages for PFF. But I do think that he's going to come around and get to Joe a few times. And you highlighted that in your article, that it will force Burrow to try and escape, especially when he's hitting home a couple times on Joe on Saturday.
Right. I like that one quite a bit. I do think that might be my favorite bet of this entire Saturday game. Yeah, I'm going with it early. You had to not bury the lead and get it out here right away.
I did. So just everyone can stop listening now. Thank you so much. That's our favorite. No, another one. You've already talked about it too. I mean, you can't. Ja'Marr Chase is insane. He's incredible. He's amazing. 71.5 receiving yards, I believe, is where the line is still at. And we like taking the over there. I mean, he ranks 5th in receiving grade, 1st in yards, 7th in receptions. It's, to me, a no-brainer on this one. And I know we've said that before, but I do like this one a lot too. Yeah.
So you can get all the way down to 69.5. I also like 5.5 receptions over at pretty much a plus price on that one as well. But yeah, this is going to be, we saw it in, the last time they played basically against Kansas City when they actually had to win. They did. It was because of Ja'Marr Chase. I don't think Burrow's going to go really anywhere else. He will, look towards T. Higgins a few times, but Tyler Boyd has been all right in the slot. But this is still Ja'Marr Chase's, wide receiver unit to take advantage of. And I do think he has a pretty decent matchup here. Can definitely take advantage of it. If you're looking more so, if you want to play, maybe a little bit longer odds, there also is an odds boost at Caesars. Bengals to win and Ja'Marr Chase over 99.5 receiving yards. Our fantasy projections have him going over 99.5 receiving yards right around 34% of the time. I think with the price at plus 400 that you're going to get on this parlay, that's closer to like a 19% expectation. So pretty decent breathing room. I do like that one quite a bit at plus 400, especially if you buy into the Bengals winning this game outright. I think that's probably the best way to play it. So
yeah, and especially you highlighted it too. He's supposed to go up against probably mostly Casey Hayward Jr. Right, and I think
it's an okay match. I mean, I do think T. Higgins probably has the actual best matchup, but that hasn't really mattered a whole lot to in establishing who's actually getting the target volume in this offense. With Joe Burrow, obviously Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow have some sort of connection that, really nobody else probably in the NFL even has right now. So I think he's going to hit a couple deep shots. If he does, 71, 69.69.5, all of them are going to fall here pretty easily. So Gotta get on board.
Gotta get on board. And it's Jamar Chase. Now you can't. Right. It's fun rooting for him. It's fun watching. So that'll be a fun one. Another one we like to heading over to the Raider side is Darren Waller, and this is kind of one I wanted to bring up to you. I looked at his receiving yards, and I was still on the fence about that, but I do like his over 5.5 receptions, and we have it. There's value on it on pff.com/betting. We have value on that one as well. And I think to me, the Bengals give up 64 yards per game to tight ends, which is a good amount there. And I think he finished with a game high 7 catches and 116 yards when they met previously in, I believe that was November. So I kind of like, at least looking at his receptions and what we think this game script is kind of going to look like from our perspective, I like his 5.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree a lot with that. Yeah. I do think that, Darren Waller wasn't really overly involved when he kind of came back from injury in week 18. I do think there is a little bit of, rolled out learning curve / situation happening with him in that week 18 matchup. But this is still a spot where you can't rely solely on Hunter Renfrow. Zay Jones has been involved a little bit deeper on, but I do think Darren Waller, the guy over the middle, is going to be able to take advantage of what has been a pretty, suspect coverage unit for the Bengals, especially when they're covering tight ends. So I like this one quite a bit. I do think if anybody's going to potentially bring, the Raiders back, it's going to be Darren Waller more so than, Hunter Renfrow or Zay Jones right now. I
agree. So. And then, like you said, the Bengals are susceptible to the big pass plays. We know it's Derek Carr, but I think they rank 29th in explosive pass play, right? Say that 5 times fast. Right. Play rate. So I think that's the one I'm going to lean on is Darren Waller on this one, especially his receptions. I know.
Yeah, definitely. I know you also like another one. I know we talked a little bit about him earlier, but T. Higgins, what are you thoughts on him? Because I do think he has kind of been involved, especially in the red zone. If Jamar Chase, if those deep shots don't actually hit and go into the end zone, kind of like T. Higgins here. What is your thoughts on him? Maybe as an anytime.
Oh, I love. First of all, we
loves the anytime.
We love an anytime. I just can't get. It's it's both a blessing and a curse here because I just can't stay away from him. I do like T. Higgins though because I found him at a plus price at plus 130, right? And I think the odds are there because he has 6 touchdowns in 14 games. And 4 in the last 6. And kind of like you said, Jamar Chase is always going to be there, but I feel like they're going to have to hit other guys. And he has that frame that can really, get away from Raiders defenders in the end zone. So I think that Higgins, what did I read? He had 10% more snaps than Boyd when they played last. So I feel like if you're going to go anywhere, potentially, you can check me on that. I think I read that, but I can't also remember. I've not a great memory. So I do.
It's been a long week. It's been a long
week, but I am with him, especially at plus 130 price to find the end zone.
Yeah. You got me now. Now I'm looking up that stat basically.
We'll look it up. Well, I
got to know what week did they actually play?
So it was November. I do remember that. It was November. Oh, when was that?
Week 11, it looks like.
We need efforting music again.
Right. We always need
like little elevator music.
If it was week 11, then T. Higgins played 79% of the snaps, 80% of the snaps. Tyler Boyd played 70% of the snaps. Basically, 92% of the routes run for T. Higgins, 82% of the routes run for Tyler Boyd. So if it was week 11, which I think it is according to my math.
Dang. All right.
That was it. So that was it. T. Higgins. So T. Higgins 10% over. So you're actually right in the lab.
Oh, okay. There we go. So. I like it. I couldn't tell if you were telling me I was wrong or not.
You were always right. I'll always tell you right, but you were definitely right on that one too. So.
Thank God. Well, I got another one too, and I've really just been looking at the plus prices here because if anything you've taught me in the last few months that we've been doing this is you want to go for the value. And another one that we've mentioned too is Hunter Renfrow. And we talked about like the Bengals pass defense and how sometimes it is a little shaky. So I think they've allowed a good enough amount of receptions and yards and have given up, 63% of their touchdowns through the air. So I do like Hunter Renfrow at plus 175 too. I just think he has a connection with Carr right now. And I feel like they're going to keep going with it. And I think that he could be someone that we could see score on Saturday as well.
Yeah, definitely. I do think one of Darren Waller getting over 5.5 receptions or Hunter Renfrow at plus 175 to get in the touch end zone. I do think both of those, I mean, I think one of those for sure is going to hit. Maybe both of them does hit. I think in the right game environment. So I can get on board with that quite a bit.
I want to end this preview of just this game with like it's super wild card weekend, and I have a super wild card bet.
All right, let's hear
that I've already placed, and we can laugh. It could be funny at the end, but it is just something fun to do. If you don't, I just kind of like it. I like, pain essentially at the end of the day.
Shoot your shot.
I did put something in for Marcus Mariota anytime at plus 550. And I do think that this goes along with, I personally think, like you, the Bengals are going to dominate this game. And I feel like Mariota, they might have to go into like their little bag of tricks at the end of the day to try and get something up there. And I think if there is a goal line opportunity and they need anything, I'm going to be hoping and praying that they put Marcus Mariota in there to potentially run one in. And that's it's a degenerate bet. It's the degenerate bet of the week. And that's what I'm rolling with.
Yep. I love the degenerate bet. Degenerate sprinkle a little bit. 4 carries in week 18, 3 carries in week 17. So why not? If not now, then win, right? Basically. So
exactly. That's what I'm saying though.
I can sprinkle it in. I can always sprinkle it in a little degenerate bet. You spoke to my heart with that one.
It'll be you and I on that one. And I'll be messaging you furiously, like throughout
every time they get close to the red zone, right?
Put Mariota in. All right. I think the Bengals Raiders game is the game I'm excited for most, but I am excited for Patriots Bills too. I don't know about you, but I think the first game is going to be the best game, I think.
I would agree with that sentiment 100%. That's all I can say. I am really excited for Raiders Bengals, but
so we got
to talk about it though. Still,
Patriots Bills. We will. So Saturday night game, Patriots at Bills. Bills are favored by 4.5. 4.5.
It's kind of bouncing around.
Total though at 44, right?
Yep. And that's kind of bounced around too. I think it opened up, 43.5, maybe. Now it's closer to 44. So it's been on the rise a little bit as well. Yeah, no, I mean,
think? I don't know.
Well, PFF's betting model likes New England a little bit on the spread, a little bit on the money line. And I honestly, I think that's like my least favorite bet that we are showing value on. Probably the entire weekend. I don't know. I feel like Buffalo's
not a company man today.
I'm just not with this one. I've been, if you ask anybody like Eric or George or anybody, I have been a notorious New England Patriots hater for way too long, even back to the Brady days. So this is just not the spot for me to be in whatsoever involved with them. So I'm looking for an in-game line of like Bills minus 2.5. If I get that, I'm going to be sending some on Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills. But other than that, I'm not really going to play anything on the game spread or total. But Greenline likes Patriots. Eric likes Patriots. George likes Patriots. So take what we're saying with a grain of salt. All right.
Yeah, we're going against him. I'm with you on the Bills. I mean,
ride or die, right?
The weather is not supposed to be like the weather that we've talked about before with these two teams, right? It's supposed to be super cold, but just not that windy. So I feel like when you look at it that way, Josh Allen is going to have success throwing the football in this situation. And as of late, the Patriots on the road have not been great. They haven't been, what we could see them as. So I'm with you. I kind of like the Bills on this one, but I can be persuaded if you thought that the Patriots were going to win this one.
Yeah.
I will say, if you had a team to pick this weekend, the Patriots would be the upset I would pick, right? Out of all the teams we're looking at, or no? Who would yours be? The Raiders?
I mean, I guess probably at least to cover as an underdog, I do think the Eagles are the best bet from an under perspective, which is kind of gross to say, but I think at least as far as like pure upset, I do think San Francisco probably is the best approach, and then Arizona, and then I would probably put the Patriots after that.
So you're just like, no, your answer is last on my list.
It's like, no, it's like third, I would say for sure.
Okay. I don't know. That's kind of what I think. I mean, we need an upset this weekend, so they are on my list, but we're kind of just on the same page of we're going with the Bills.
Right. And the thing is, like the PFF player props tool, we actually really like a Mac Jones positive performance. We like him to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns. We like him to go over 201.5 passing yards as well, written play. We also like him to go over 19.5 completions. So we are kind of on maybe it's going to be because of game script, right? Maybe Buffalo will be up early. Mac Jones is going to be able to rely on, Damian Harris, everybody else in that, along the offensive line, run blocking and Damian Harris kind of rushing the football. So he's going to potentially have to bring them back. If he does, I think those stats are probably going to hit as well. And I kind of like that.
Okay.
Maybe in a same game parlay, I did sprinkle a little bit that on Caesars here yesterday, plus 425 price. So maybe if you do buy into, the Patriots at least covering 4.5, that's a decent way to play it from my perspective. So I don't have any Patriots 4.5, but I did bet Mac Jones to potentially maybe smash her a little bit, I guess, in the wild card round. So
yeah, I can see it. So you do like one of the ones that we have written down is you do like Mac Jones over 209.5 passing yards.
Yeah, so that's come down a little bit. 201.5, I think is the number that you should be looking for to actually play it. I do think it's even probably lower than that in certain spots. So maybe that's a little bit related to the weather, but I know everyone likes Buffalo's defense. Obviously, we have them ranked really highly, but I just don't think they are a top 10 coverage unit without Tre'Davious White. They haven't necessarily shown that whatsoever, but they haven't really played anybody since he was injured either. So I know people like their safeties, Jordan Pyro, everybody else. I do think they are solid, but they don't have that actual lockdown cover cornerback like they did with White in the lineup. So I'm a little bit worried about, if I don't necessarily think New England's gonna be able to take full advantage of them in a passing situation, but kind of once they move on, get to, face off against Kansas City next week, I think that's going to be a glaring hole for them to probably have to try and figure out if they're going to be able to compete with Kansas City in Kansas City. So
I don't know, 209.5 and
it's pretty low.
Taken down. Yeah. It is pretty low, but I still kind of maybe lean towards the under, right? I mean, White's out, but they still are they're allowing 163 passing yards per game this year, which is, I look at them year round, I guess. So I can see your point, but I don't know, 209.5 is already low, but I still might lean towards that under.
Yeah, this is low. So where he's at now, this is his lowest of the season outside of when they played in Buffalo in that wind aided craziness game, basically. So this will be the second lowest passing yards prop that he has seen. So from that perspective, when you're modeling it, pulling a little bit back toward the mean in a lot of situations, Mac Jones to go over, I think is a pretty decent bet. So
all right, I'm with you.
I'm with you.
Skeptically
with you.
I'm skeptically with you. It's interesting. 209.5. All right. Well, what I do like though is Diggs to go over his 66.5 receiving yards. This might, besides our quarterback rushing prop, of course, this is probably my second favorite of the night. And to me, it makes sense. I mean, he's been Josh Allen's favorite target in 2021, right? He's 12th among receivers in offensive grade and receiving grade. And I like this one, especially in this matchup.
Yeah. So we like it, quite a bit. It has moved up basically 5 yards up to 71.5 on a consensus line. So did get some closing line value on that particular one. We also like over 6.5 receptions plus 106 price. I think that is maybe also a really good spot. Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're looking at the Bills putting up a decent amount of points, playing from ahead, it's going to be because of Stephon Diggs, connecting with Josh Allen. So I'm on board with it. I'm on board with both of those. Maybe lean a little bit in the receptions department, but I think either one is definitely playable for sure.
I like the receptions one. And he's going up against JC Jackson.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, for the most
part. And I feel like we like that matchup for him.
Yeah,
a little bit
we
more.
Do. I mean, I think, obviously Stephon Diggs, one of the best route runners in the NFL, is really tough to cover no matter who you're looking at it. But I do think with JC Jackson, he especially matches up pretty well with him given his skill set. So I like that one quite a bit. So
any other ones that you like from this game?
I mean,
we do have a lot. We do have a lot of value on PFF.com/betting, but
you got to check it out.
You do have to check it out. It's probably the coolest. I think it's one of the coolest things we have on our website to be able to go in and look at. You can see all the best bets that have been put together on the website.
It's definitely on the page that I check by far the most. In a lot of ways, I'm always on this. I'm always on the page too. So I do think, check it out. We do have a lot of value. Some on Mac Jones, some on some other guys. I think a lot of them are going to. It has definitely performed well recently here, especially. So make sure you check out the props tool and the betting tool, basically.
There we go. And we'll be back. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to preview all of Sunday too. So I'm excited. This is the best. This is one of the best times of the year, especially betting. It's just it's so fun.
Right.
So fun. So
I agree with you.
I'm with you. I'm going to try and go to the game tomorrow. I feel like I have to.
You got to.
I'll send you pictures.
Please
send
do. Please
from the
do.
nosebleeds. That's
Right.
the only place I'm going to sit.
Right.
And it's going to be cold. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm going to talk myself out of it.
You're going to make it happen. You're going to make it happen. I'm going to give you the
Maybe.
push that you need, I guess.
Yeah,
So we'll
maybe.
see.
All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for listening. Like we were just talking about, pff.com/betting. That is also where you can find Ben Brown's articles, which are the also most clicked things that I do on each week is the most read things. So that's what we're doing. So thank you everyone so much and good luck.